Hi everyone, this is Dr. Ernesto from Attaboy Cowboy, and today I'm recording here in Blerny Falls, California. And I wanted to share with you my experience with the Church of Scientology. Now, I used to work in a hospital in Los Angeles here on Sunset Boulevard. Right across the street, there was a Scientology center. It was huge, and it was a beautiful building, and out of curiosity, I started going over there during my breaks, and I met some really interesting people, and they invited me to the classes. I took some of their classes. And like any religion in the world or frame of, thinking, everything has its beauty and its strong points. And I found some very interesting points there, lessons that I've kept with me and that I've, kept in practice since going to the Church of Scientology. Now, I never became a member and I no longer go because it just wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but I learned some really interesting things. First thing I learned is about auditing. Auditing is really cool. It's a practice where you think about, let's say you make a list of like the 3 worst things that have happened to you in your life. And basically you tell the story to another person called an auditor. But I started thinking about psychotherapy. You could do the same thing with social worker or a psychologist or someone that you speak to on a regular basis. And you just keep repeating the same story over and over. And every time you repeat it with much more detail. You talk about the smells in the room, the sights, the sounds, the clothes you were feeling, the textures you felt in your skin. It was a really interesting experience. At the time, my brother had just passed away. It hadn't been that long, and it was on my mind a lot. And I went through this process of auditing where I just kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And I talked about it so much, the auditor just kept telling me, repeat it, tell me the story again. And interesting enough, every time I repeated it, I remembered more details. It was almost like it was unlocking parts of my brain and kind of like things I just didn't want to think about. Maybe things that were painful or had caused suffering or something like that for me. And I felt a levity. It made me feel lighter. I felt more relaxed. It helped me resolve a lot of the issues and things I had in my mind. It was actually a really good experience. And I remember after those 2 hours or so of the auditing, just repeating the same story, which probably took about 5 or 10 minutes to repeat. So if you do the math, I guess I probably repeated it about 10 to 15 times in those few hours. It was a good experience. I didn't think about it as much. I actually felt a lot happier. I left there with a big smile on my face. And for me, when I work with patients, a lot of times I'll talk to them and they'll oftentimes repeat the same painful experiences that are weighing them down. It's kind of like baggage. They'll just keep talking about it month and year after year. And it made me think about the Scientologists, and I thought, wow, if they would just kind of condense all that, instead of repeating it every, once a week or every time they saw somebody, just sit there and hash it out for a few hours, it would probably go away. Probably wouldn't be thinking about it anymore. It'd probably feel better just like I did. So if you have something that's really bothering you, just a suggestion, because it helped me, go to your psychologist or some family member or a good friend, and just hash it out. Just keep repeating the story over. The issue is that sometimes people want to give advice. You don't want to give advice. You just want someone to listen to you. That's what the auditor does, just listens. And when you're kind of stuck, they'll just proctor you to just keep going. And they'll ask you, what did you see around you? Remember what the temperature felt in the room. How did your clothes feel on your skin? What did you eat that day? Just every little detail you could think about sensory-wise. They asked me and I repeated it and it felt really good. So if you have something that's really bothering you, consider doing auditing with someone that you trust. Thank you for watching, and from Los Angeles, Blerny Falls, California, this is Dr. Ernesto. Thank you and goodbye.